Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WP Blab, episode number 5. This show is brought to you by WPwatercooler. If you haven't watched WPwatercooler, you should definitely go check that out. That happens on Mondays at 11 Pacific in the morning. So go check that out. So today, got a bunch of questions and a bunch of stuff going on. But before we dive all into that, Bridget, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a self-taught relationship marketer who specializes in Twitter. Woohoo! Who learned how to use WordPress the hard way. Still learning. I had some struggles with getting my website down from the internet to play with it offline this weekend. Yeah, that's way harder than it seems. I haven't totally figured it out, so hopefully nobody asks that question this week. Also, I realized that my plugin that's doing a backup is making me 3 zip files. How is that helpful? That's
super helpful. That's 3 times the backup.
Don't we want 3 different zip files? Don't we want just one so I could drag it into desktop server? I think I need a new plugin. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I know enough to like really get myself into trouble now. Oh man.
Which
That's
plugin
me.
are you using?
I learned the hard way, so you don't have to.
Awesome. A little bit about me. My name's Jason Tucker. I host a show called WPwatercooler. I blog over at my website, jasontucker.us. I also do audio video stuff over at wpmedia.pro. I work for a nonprofit. I take care of all their IT stuff, and I love doing the whole bunch of video things all on the side. So that's what we're doing here today. We have a guest. We have our first person to hang out with us of one of the 4 seats that we have available. And Oscar, tell us a little bit about yourself, Oscar.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Oscar, you want to tell us about yourself real quick?
Sorry. Yes. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go for it.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm just Oscar Gonzalez at Not a Grouch on Twitter, and I love all things tech, social. I'm a big WordPress guy, and just
awesome. Glad
to be here with you guys.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. So we asked on Twitter, and feel free to ask on Twitter throughout the week if you like. We asked everyone, hey, you should ask us some questions on Twitter using the hashtag AskWPBlab, and we had some people that came in and asked us some questions. So that we go
got
down
a lot
of
questions.
Yeah, it's like some of these, it's crazy. I'm surprised you guys have websites running with all these questions.
No, they just did that to help me out.
No,
I'm sure they
okay.
don't really want to need those answers.
Oh, they're gonna know all of these answers. By the end of it, Bridget will answer all of your questions.
The answer is Google it.
So let's go through some of them. So I pulled it up on Tweetbot here. So let me take a look on my other monitor here and see what we got here. One of the questions from Tracy was, what is the most effective SEO WordPress plugin? And I'll drop that into the chat here so we can reference it later.
Okay, I was gonna find it. I was gonna do that for you, but that's cool. Yay.
So what is Tweetbot? Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about WordPress SEO stuff. So this is one of those topics that comes up like every single time we do one of these, which means that I need to start looking at other SEO products other than just the one that I always use. I'm a huge fan of Yoast SEO.
I am now.
Yeah, Yoast SEO is pretty cool. The only thing that Bridget doesn't like about Yoast SEO is she's one of those people that's kind of like, my wife has the same problem where she'll see either a color or a little notification or something like that, and she goes, no, why is my thing all screwed up?
Yeah, but wait, Jason, I saw the coolest blog from the Yoast people today, and I wonder if maybe they heard my cries for help.
Is it
like they said they don't even get green lights on all of theirs. Sometimes they don't care. I gotta find it. I'll put it in the chat because I watched it and the Yoast guy was talking,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh, that was so nice of you to say that we're not all just crappy writers." I'll find it.
That's awesome. So if you're not familiar with Yoast SEO, you can go over to yoast.com. That's yoast.com. And they do a whole bunch of stuff over there. They're the ones that make the sitemap plugins. They make a plugin for Google Analytics. They do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, there's plenty of other, competing products that are out there and stuff. I just like Yoast SEO, and since this is my show, I can kind of tell you what I want to tell you. So, Oscar, what about you? What do you use? Do you use any SEO stuff?
I use Yoast as well. It's the best one. If I have the choice, I go with Yoast. Sometimes I have to deal with Ultimate
SEO.
Second most popular. Yeah, and that's cool too. I just like Yoast. Seems to work pretty much for most people out of the box, and then pretty basic, settings and tweaking will make it work really well.
Yeah, it was really easy.
I like it. My favorite.
Like for me, I had ad meta tags, I had the Google XML, and I had JM Twitter cards, and that all got replaced with one plugin, Yoast SEO. And I don't even care about the lights. I was just doing that for the sake of comedy. As much as I just want it to be easy for people to if they tweet my article, it will automatically put in my handle.
Right.
The Facebook authorship for when it's shared.
I really like.
No, go ahead. That was.
Sorry. Oh, I really. This is something that most people don't look at that in that plugin is that kind of the content wizard you were mentioning earlier. Kind of you alluded to it where you write your title and say check it for me and it starts kind of giving you those green check lights. That is so good, and most people just don't realize that's there. They just kind of ignore it, but I think that's my favorite feature out of the whole plugin.
Wrote a blog post
really useful.
Also for my cries of help, and she told me you can go green every single time. You just have to fill out those boxes the right way. So on
there's
someone2blog.com.
Yeah, there's a bit of requirements that are there, and I was going to pull it up real quick so you guys can kind of take a look at it and see how this works. Let's see here. Let me clean up this screen a little because we got a lot of things that are going on here, and I don't want to confuse a bunch of people. So, all right, let's do that. So let's go and switch over here, and then we'll switch to desktop. And hey, I already got it working. Check that out. All right, so let's take a look a little bit here. So I'm on a blog post that I wrote, and I know you can't see this all that well. I'm sorry. This whole like 4x3 screen thing where it's like teeny tiny and whatnot. But let me see if I can help us out a little bit here. So I'm looking at my blog post here, and I'm in the editing screen. So I'm already written this content. Now I want to do something with it. And
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. It's really hard to be serious when the chat.
That's okay. That's okay. So the one thing that I want to tell you about is when you're looking at the screen options up on the top there, if you click on that, you can turn on and off these things. The one that you want to make sure that is turned on is this one that's Yoast SEO. If that one's not turned on, then it's not going to help you, and you're not going to be able to see anything. So let me get my my mouse pointer working here. All right, so now we can see my mouse pointer. So make sure Yoast SEO is turned on. So the other thing here is if you scroll down, you can see this section that says Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO is the part that we want to look at here, and the page analysis is the part that we were just talking about. So if you go and put in a focus keyword, which I was writing about like the word exchange, and then I'll go to page analysis. This will actually show us down here, I said the word exchange in my heading. I said it in my page title, in my URL. The content has it 5 times, and I didn't put anything in the meta description.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see the chat.
I am not looking at the chat.
They're like
I've heard that when I do stuff.
You're so cute. Like they can't read anything that you're showing, but basically there's boxes, okay? You got to fill them out, and if things match, you get green lights.
Yeah. If you see those little green pixels there, sometimes they're red.
Red is bad.
All right, here we go. How about that? How about that? Can you guys see that
There you
now?
go. That's better.
You know what? I aim to please here. So so if you look at this section here where it says Yoast SEO, you can see the snippet where it's what's going to look like on Twitter or on Google Google results. I typed in my focus keyword right here. And then you can see these kind of article spots here where it says like the article heading, the page title, the URL, the content, and so on and so forth. So the other thing that it gives you the ability to do is to change the title of your blog post so that it is set up more for the search engines, not for what's going to be displayed on your website. So you can make that change. So if you look here, you can see that my last name gets cut off at the end here. So if I wanted to get it, make that bigger or change it or whatever, you can do that.
I like the live preview. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Because in Facebook, when you share one of your blog posts, if you put too many characters, then it doesn't make any sense. So like it'll just default grab that first paragraph, but it's better if you like write something that kind of persuasive or whatever. Yeah, like, hey, did you really know we could blah, blah, blah? You can, but click now or something, really like you almost have to channel your inner infomercial.
Yep.
But wait, there's more. You have to be like, kind of like, it sounds so like salesy, but it really gets people to click. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Yep. It's Cam Twist, Adam Silver. It's Cam Twist is the program he's using.
I can't
but we just have
making the screen bigger or smaller. So you get what you get. You don't throw it. That's just how it works.
So the answer to Tracy's question is the consensus on the table is Yoast. So easy for the free version. It's so easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the other two kind of companion plugins to it. They're paid, but they're pretty good too. The video and the local search, which you could do everything without them, but it's just like the main plugin. It just saves you like hours and hours and nightmares of updating.
Plus, it doesn't seem to need as many updates as the other ones I was using. Like I think I was having updates every day with one plugin or another.
Oh yeah, that's
so the consolidating it all into one thing.
Yeah, Yoast is good about that. Even though they're a paid plugin, they update kind of on a regular schedule. Sometimes you see paid plugins, they just update every couple of days to get you, scared of canceling the premium service, and there's no real evidence. But Yoast is pretty good about that.
Wow, that's
cool. Good. SEO is good. Oh, one thing I would add to the whole SEO conversation is sometimes when I work with some bloggers, they think, well, all my check marks were green, so it's good. And I want to make sure that's not necessarily the case. SEO still needs to be thought out, and you need to make sure you have the right keywords and all that stuff. But the Yoast plugin is just like a kind of like a guideline of what you should be doing. It doesn't mean that you're automatically going to start ranking. It just helps you.
Plus, it's like being accountable to yourself. If I say I weigh 200 pounds, you don't know that I weigh 230. I just say, hey, I weigh 200 pounds, baby, And, it just doesn't matter. It's like, because if you're filling in those boxes yourself, you're self-evaluating.
Right.
So it really matters about if you're getting found. Just like Adam Silver said, green is a color, good content is key. So.
Agreed. Let's see here. What other questions we have going on here? So let's see here. What plugin do you recommend for optimizing keyword searches for website? Keyword searches.
You mean on the website? Like they're on your website?
Yeah, there used to be one. I'm not a big marketing type person, but the one that I used to use was HitTail. I don't know if that still exists or not.
HitTail is great. It does, but after the Google, after they made all the searches go to HTTPS, it's kind of a nightmare to use HitTail. You have to connect it to your analytics and do all this hoop jumping, but it's really, really good.
So there's that one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. The question is a little bit tricky because that's not really a WordPress thing.
Well,
that's just your own research of content that you need to
plugins
independently WordPress. Yeah. There's Jason? What's that one that I forgot what it's called, but it helps you write. It has like a writing.
Yeah, Grammarly might be it.
It's like
Atomic
Grammarly,
Reach
but
has
it's not
one.
Grammarly.
A copywriter.
It's been around
was that like
years.
I don't remember. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it's a Scribe
that
or something.
Sounds about right.
Scribe, maybe?
I mean, if I got a plugin that helped me write, I would have no work. I'm not going to replace myself. Scribe.
Well,
Heather says
Scribe
yes.
lets you. Yeah. I think it helps you target on the right words when you're talking about a certain topic. So it's pretty useful.
I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm horrible at writing, so I definitely would not.
Oh, you're not that bad. It gets better. It used to be I could barely squeak out 300 words. Now I could hardly stop at 12. I wish my 8th grade English teacher.
I told you
Oscar, you've been saying this for years, but I don't believe people when they're nice to me because I just think they're being nice.
Nobody ever believes me.
No, I really just want to give it to my 8th grade English teacher. I'm going to find Mr. Busio in Pacific Grove Middle School and send him my blog. Can I get better grades now?
Just send him a postcard.
Oh, man. What's the next question? Oh, we lost Jason. What,
did we lose
what
Jason?
the heck?
Well, I don't know.
Here he goes.
Do you have the questions?
Well, yeah, I have the questions in the backup.
Dumb computers.
There he is.
All right, so let's see here. Another question.
This one's going fast. I like having the questions pre-prepared.
No doubt.
Like a cooking show.
And by the way, if you have any questions right now and you want us to talk about them, whatever, put them over in the chat. Just type in /Q
that was
space
last
in your
week,
question,
Adam.
and we'll help you out over there.
Oh my gosh!
I ignore the chat.
They're distracting me. You guys are going to get me in trouble.
Just like on WP Watercooler, we totally ignore the chat unless we absolutely want to interact with the chat people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm a social media person.
You know what?
I pay attention.
I would show you, but I actually have my screen dragged over to the side, so I can't actually see the chat at all unless I want to. I'll move it over. So let's talk a little bit about this stuff. So what plugin do you recommend? Okay, we already did that one. Are there any plans to integrate better security measures in WP Core? For example, not allowing admin as a username.
That was from Pam and Marketing.
Yeah, I love Pam. Pam's awesome.
She is awesome. She's the reason why I went to WordCamp in the first place. She's part of my origin story.
It's just part of your origin story. I love that. Is there any plans? I don't know if there's any plans. I'm not part of the core team, so there's actually WordPress itself is a nonprofit organization, and WordPress, that's the foundation, and then WordPress itself is just a product that a bunch of people get together and write. So you can look that stuff up. Looking on WordPress.org's website, go look around in there, and you can kind of see in the blog there. You can see all the stuff that they're planning on doing and things that they have done. You can look at the release notes that happen each time a new version of WordPress comes out. So you can go take a look at that.
So Adam in the comments says that he spoke to Matt and he said no, and left a link.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was kidding.
That wouldn't be a WordPress thing to do. They could focus on other interactions, but the usernames and stuff, they couldn't restrict that. That's kind of a universal thing.
A lot of people are concerned about security and just making that as, listen, when I'm trying to change my password, they're kind of tricky with me. Like, hey, buddy, use that password 10 years ago, so you can't use it again, right? They're pretty pushy about me picking a good password. And I don't want some 10-string one last pass thing. I still want to be a person who remembers my password.
No, I don't.
I know it's kind of bad, but admin.
I only know my master password, and it's 30 characters. It's a full sentence with spaces and characters. That.
Fibonacci number sequence or something.
On the phone, in the phone, you have your fingerprint now. Most phones have it, so you don't even need to type that.
I'll just touch my screen.
No, that won't work.
I'm just saying, like, it's annoying.
You know what?
Let me address a little bit this whole idea of admin being a username you shouldn't use and so on and so forth. So admin itself, like any other username that's in WordPress, can actually be found just by looking at the blog post. So if you wrote a blog post, you put the author, you show the author's name, and the name has a link to it. If you click on that link, the link will show you like the archive of everybody that that writes that blog post. Well, unfortunately, because of that, people are able to click on that link, look at the slug, if you will, the part within that, and see what the name of the author is. So if your name on there is admin, but your the display name is Jason Tucker or what have you, then it's that's where they're able to find that. So yeah, there's plenty of really great kind of plugins that you can use to be able to take care of that stuff, as well as if you install Security. Security actually has a really great way of being able to make that change for you, so you can change the username from admin to something else.
Security is really good, and I would parallel that with WordFence if anybody's used that before. The free version takes care of most of security issues. And something to bring up too, besides plugin, I've seen at least the hosts that I use, like SiteGround, InMotion, and a few other good sized hosts, but not like the biggest and not the smallest one. They're the ones kind of taking on some of the security issues, because they're ultimately the ones that take the brunt. When our stuff goes down or we get a problem, we blame the host right away, right? I mean, most people don't know that they got hacked. They just, hey, my website isn't working. So the hosts are taking that up. Sometimes when you use their one-click install, they don't even give you an option to put admin, and they give you their own username, which is obscured or, darker, longer than just admin, which is really good. And I think that's where it should be. That's the security. That's where the layer of the security should be. Not so much at the WordPress hosting account, because there's times where there's no issues with it being insecure, because if it's in an intranet, for example, maybe people don't care and they just want to use it fast.
Agreed.
Yeah, I really don't want to give my firstborn child. I just want to write my blog.
I'm going to share with I'll put it on Twitter if anybody wants to download it.
You can put it in the chat side on the chat, on the notes, because that will actually be pulled over when Jason puts it on the website.
That's right. I have a sample WordFence file that I gave all my clients.
That's awesome.
To start it when they use it.
So let's see here. What else do we got going on here? I'm just going to favorite each one of these as we kind of blast through them all. What's your weekly maintenance routine look like for your sites? Beyond backup and run updates, what else can you do regularly? Wow, weekly. I wish I thought about my WordPress websites weekly. I write in them every once in a while. I make sure my updates are all done and everything, but I'm not babysitting them weekly, unfortunately. The ones that I manage at work, I definitely do those just about every day. But like my personal stuff and whatever, it exists. So what's your weekly maintenance routine look like? So I'm starting to use a new thing from Jetpack, where they actually have a kind of, I forget the name of it. It's like Jetpack Maintenance or Jetpack Management or something like that. But I've been using that, and that's like just a little checkbox you turn on, and it lets you start managing it. So I've been playing around with that a little bit, but it's not something I've really jumped in to start using. But I also have been using WP or Manage WP, and that one's pretty good. I like it.
So does that mean you just go to Manage WP and then it knows you connect all your sites, and then you just go there once?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Oh.
And you can tell it to update all of them or exclude some or only update certain plugin. And what's really cool about that, you can actually install new things if you need to. Like if you need to install a plugin, you can use that and install it to all the sites at once.
So I looked in the chat and somebody saying, "Oh, you're using Jetpack. That's horrible." I don't really agree with that.
Why? No, Jetpack is great. I mean, it depends what, I mean, what happens, I had the same reaction when Jetpack first came out, or not first, but when they kind of started really pushing for the Jetpack connectivity and all that, because some things are not very customizable. You have to really work at it and stuff. So for most developers, I think the initial switch to Jetpack is frustrating. But once you get past that, I think it's really, really good. Yeah. It's really, really powerful.
I like that it integrates with my phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if I get a comment, that's one of the only push notifications I get on my phone. I get text messages, I get WordPress comments, because those are important to me, so I want to respond as soon as I can.
It's an actionable item, sure.
Well, I mean, I care about comments. Comments are so freaking rare. You're like, oh my God, I love you. Let me go wash your feet. So that I like that it does that. It didn't work before. I mean, there wasn't a choice until, because I mean, when I was only on WordPress.com, that was fine.
Right.
But once I changed YouTube Could Be Guru from WordPress.com to BridgetWillard.com, then I didn't have that anymore, and it was a real bummer until the Jetpack came out.
Yeah. And Jetpack's nice because it's just built in. It just happens. As long as you have the WordPress app installed on your phone, then you'll just get a push notification. So I think that's cool.
I like that.
So
plus you can refresh your stats.
Yeah. Watch
the water boil.
I like the stats from WordPress.com. They're pretty clean and simple to look at least, to keep an eye on the pulse of the site. Those are really nice. And I don't know if you guys, we were talking about SEO earlier, how Google doesn't show you the searches anymore, but WordPress.com still shows you searches, which is pretty useful to see, how people are actually finding your site. You can see that through the Jetpack WordPress.com page. So.
The picture behind me was painted by my neighbor. It's two geese, and I thought it was really beautiful until she told me why she was painting it. It's two geese fighting, and the moral to the story is, don't have a heated discussion with your husband in the summer when the windows are open.
Oh, yep, I can see that. You have to turn your head a little bit to the side in order to get that version of it. But yeah, I totally get
it. She said even when geese are fighting, they're beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a reminder to me. It's an original artwork, but it's also a good reminder that I mean, to text message my heated discussions when you live in apartments.
Oh, boy.
I like the colors, too.
Let's see here. Somebody had a question. I didn't make that up.
That's a true story, folks.
So somebody had a question here saying, how can I set a watermark background on each of my pages? Yeah.
Why do you want a watermark on your page?
I think we have to read.
Yeah, so I just asked them.
Your logo or something?
I just asked them in here. I'm not quite sure. So let's do a couple assumptions here, and then we'll just kind of run with it, and we'll see what they have to say about it. So if they're talking about just like having a background image on there, that's a little bit of CSS, right? And you can kind of figure out how to do CSS by doing some Google searches and whatnot. But if it has to do with, if they wanted to have like that image actually showing up on, on top of an image, maybe, then that's a totally different thing. And there's plenty of plugins that do that, but I wouldn't do it with a plugin. I would do it in like Photoshop or Pixelmator or GIMP or something like that. So, FYI Technologies, let us know what, what you were talking about there. Maybe we can give you a little bit better understanding of, how to answer that question for you. So let's go back to the Twitters real quick here and see what else we had going on. What's the best tip for meeting WordPress people in real life? Do you find that where people are and make yourself part of the group? Totally. Yes.
You
answer I'll come right back to you in just a minute, FYI Technology. So meetup.com is probably like the best place to go for this stuff. Just go on there, do some searches, type in the word WordPress, type in the word web development, whatever. There's a lot of groups that are out there that do like Adobe products. So if you wanted to even just do a search for that, and that might be a feeder to get you into some other groups that are out there. Also, don't feel bad if you show up at one of these meetups and it just doesn't work out for you. There's plenty of meetups that are out there, unless you live out in the middle of nowhere and there's only like 6 people, then you're probably going to have some difficulty trying to find them. But that's where stuff like this, where when you come on to, you know, watching something on like WP Blab or watching some of the different podcasts and stuff that are out there, kind of brings community together anyhow. So it's good stuff.
And if you are in a popular area and there just aren't any meetings there, you can just start your own. There's no permission required or anything. Just simply pay the meetup.com membership. It's like $80 for a year or whatever, and say WordPress Meetup and set it up. And then people will just come to you because there's probably, you know, if you live in a very small town, there's probably at least another dozen people that want to know more. And if you live in a bigger city, they just, nobody has taken the initiative.
If you have like, if you have some type of like crazy hardship or something like that, where you just can't afford to do this, but you're the only person, you're the one that's kind of making this happen. If you go talk to WordPressorg and talk to those folks over there, they actually have some ways of being able to kind of help you out, taking care of those types of fees and stuff. There's a whole bunch of restrictions, a whole bunch of stuff like that, because you're having somebody else kind of pay for those things. But definitely start doing some kind of research in there about that, and we can, you know, get you started up.
Yeah, and even sponsors too. I run some meetups. If you just go to local business and say, you know, I'm going to have 10 people here every week, 20 people. They might just cover the cost because it could be negligible to them to pay for that and just have it, you know, a banner or a person there introducing the business for a minute or two, and then you have the whole time for yourself.
Like a lunch and learn?
Exactly. Something like that.
Well, you know, yeah, lunch and learn is good, but sometimes companies will just pay you. They say, I'll cover all your fees if you just display your banner by the entry of your meetup. They're happy with that. That's another way to get it.
Yeah, so going back to FYI Technologies stuff here, so they were asking about doing like a watermark or something like that, and they wanted to put a logo as like their wallpaper, you know, the background of that particular post. There's a bunch of ways to do that. The main one I would say is to do a quick little bit of research on how to use CSS to make that get displayed on the back, you know, on the background there. So poke around there a little bit. If you're not somebody who is very CSS savvy, but you want to kind of, you know, dip your toe into it a little bit and kind of come up with a good way of making that happen, I've actually been looking at a solution for that called CSS Hero, and it's actually pretty good. And you can just kind of click on the thing, find the area that you want to modify, click on it, and then, you know, just change the background or something like that. So poke around a little bit. There's a bunch of places you can, you know, get this type of information and build a get you helped out. Hey, Adam, how's it going, man?
Hey, Adam Silver.
Hi, Bridget Willard. Hi, Oscar.
Now I can move the chat back over to the side. So since you're in the room already,
I was on fire.
You were. Jeez, man. Sorry, I was offending you in there. You know.
That's awesome.
So let's
just as a quick, let me add something to the meetup fee real quick. If you go through the meetup setup, if you're brand new to set up a meetup, you can actually, they ask for your email address before they ask for a credit card. If you do that process, this is how it used to be 4 years ago. You give your information and then close the window. Don't finish it. Don't pay. In 3 days' time, it's like a Bible verse. In 3 days' time, you will get an email saying, "Come back," and you get like a discount code, like half off. You have like 3 days and then sign up.
Okay.
Because it's like an abandoned cart is what it is.
Yeah, abandoned cart.
Nice.
That's like
so they know because they're giving your email address. So
they don't do retargeting every time you go on Facebook. A little meetup.
Yeah. Come back.
We miss you.
In 3 days' time. Where that came from. Great.
So
that's awesome. Now we have some real people who know stuff.
Yeah.
What's our next question?
Yeah,
Jason?
you don't need that Jason anymore. I'll leave and I'll open.
No, I mean the three of you people. I could just be a beautiful face.
You don't. You're not gonna. You are a beautiful face.
Aww, you're checking the mail in 3 days. In 3 days, you'll get a check.
Thank you. That's about right.
Let's see here. All
right. While you guys look up another one, I'm
digging around in here a little bit because some of these questions are wow.
Well, I got the old school shirt OC, by the way.
Nice. I had that cup today.
I know.
I think we had that conversation.
Yeah. And there's all my you see right there?
Oh, you have the lanyards too. I got in trouble for having lanyards. I didn't know you were supposed to turn those.
These are from years past, none from this year.
I'm just saying, like.
No, come on.
How did you get away with that?
Well, they
You're
Not
trouble
in the
for what?
WordPress lanyard.
they reuse those lanyards. So what they'll do is they'll take those and send them back to the to
Dry cleaner,
No.
no
the sanitizer
Oh, I have.
They do stuff with
everyone.
them
I
and-
keep them
with
all,
their
yeah.
sweatiness.
It's for like the smaller WordCamps that don't have a whole bunch of money and they want to be
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll just kind of
Got
throw a
it.
bunch of stuff out there, and then people are able to use those. So
Aw.
there is a ridiculous number of questions in here, and if you
I
guys,
told you I asked my tribe for help.
Guess
You
so.
shouldn't have me
Jeez.
ask my tribe.
Here's the question I have: how do I change camera source if I wanted to? Can I change camera source on this Blab?
Oh, that's a good question.
No,
I'm curious.
no.
Okay.
I think you have to use it.
All right, I'm done.
You can if you're using Chrome. If you go click the little hamburger menu in the upper right hand corner, and then you go down to like settings and advanced settings. There's like a thingy in there that you can change.
Oh, I think it's actually here. It's the camera icon in the toolbar. There it is.
Yeah, it's goofy.
I found it.
They need some help.
I did something. I got rid of Oscar. That's
Well,
awesome.
It is still in beta.
Yeah.
So, and Blab is changing things a lot. I just saw a post by them on Medium where they were saying that they're going to bring back the questions. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah. I mean, things are changing. It's good. When you're in beta, you're getting a lot of feedback. So, it's really pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm just cracking up at some of these questions.
What if advice? Don't
See,
click
now
on
you're
data
reading the
mode.
questions.
I'm reading the questions and I'm just like, oh my gosh, if WordPress could be a superhero, which one would it be? Just
Spider-Man, because that has the best song.
No, the Dark
Spider-Man,
Knight. It'd be the Dark Knight.
Spider-Man does whatever the spider can.
It's always
Spins
getting
around
dissed.
anytime, catches thieves just like flies. Watch out. Here comes the Spider-Man. He's the only one with a good song. Just saying. And
No, the Batman
WordPress,
back in the 70s.
I got one.
Batman's too revenge.
I got one
WordPress
here.
isn't revengey.
So, what are the benefits of using WordPress over others like Wix, Weebly, etc.?
This is a hot topic this week.
Is
Yeah,
it?
this-
Because
that
apparently
Wix has some
Google
money, so
dumped.
they're spending ad money or something? Like, what's the deal here?
Nothing happened. Nothing happened with Wix sites not being indexed.
Right. Well, yeah.
Oh.
Google stopped indexing them for a while by accident.
Whatever.
Accident, right?
Somebody made an offer they couldn't refuse.
Right.
What happened?
12.
So what's the actual question? I mean, I think it's a good question.
Why do we use WordPress over those? Like, what's the benefits there? There's a whole bunch of
Expandability.
benefits. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, I've actually lost a few clients this year to Squarespace. I brought people in from Wix. I've referred people to other services because it depends on what their budgets are. It depends on what their needs are. I used to take, we all four of us would say, at one point we used to say, you hear somebody, I use Wix, you go, oof, or you take you'd be highbrow. You know what? They're tools. And I did a podcast on this like a month or two ago, Kitchen Sink WP. But they're tools. So you have to make sure that people use the right tool for what they need. I believe that WordPress has more expandability and functionality in the long run and ownership of all content and design. So that's why I think WordPress is focused on it, and the community behind it. So all about community, people.
The ownership, it's very expandable, like you said. All the plugins and the themes. The thing with Wix and Squarespace, and it's hard to deny to the users, is they're incredibly easy to use.
Right. Well, they're running on top of a CMS.
Yeah.
But they're just their CMS.
Right.
It's still content management. So it's not, if you want to leave WordPress.com and go to WordPress.org, totally simple.
Yep.
They help you. You want to leave Squarespace to bring your content to, a self-hosted, different story, or Wix or Weebly. Those three companies in question spend a lot of money on marketing, and so they have mindshare.
WordPress.wix.com. That's great.
So somebody wrote Aveda, and I just want to tell that person, stop writing the word Aveda.
Don't do
Forever.
that.
No. Aveda is a tool, and I mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, Aveda is one of those themes, man. They just
$60 and you get 26 sliders, 3 galleries.
Little knob and button. It's amazing.
It's overkill, but people use it because it was marketed well and it has a lot of features. So.
Yeah. What's funny is most of the time people are hiring us to figure out how to get rid of a lot of those features that are baked into Aveda.
Happens all the time.
Like I don't need
developers.
sliders.
I know a developer whose client had a beta. They wanted to keep it. So they just stripped everything out that they weren't using. They just went into the core code and ripped everything out of it. But they still wanted the like. Why not just pay for a custom theme?
Right.
Right. I don't know. How do you get their money's worth?
So people are asking in the chat room here, what are our favorite free themes? I actually don't use any free themes. Like I don't have like a free one. I've found a few that I really like and I've kind of stuck with them. I have a couple that are like the ones that I use as kind of a base and then I, expand from that. It's more like a starter theme for me. I don't make like a child theme or anything like that for it. It's just something I start with and then just start building. But yeah, I don't really have any that are, a particular free one.
I'm using Hemingway and 2012.
Hemingway is still around, huh?
Wow.
It's BridgetWiller.com.
Really?
I was using it on the WordPress. By the time I built Riggins Construction, I was looking for themes. So I go, oh, this is on WordPress.com and it's on regular WordPress. I'm done. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not getting enough people coming to my website where they're like, well, I really like what you wrote, but this theme kind of sucks. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
82 visits breaks my blog, so.
It's a lot about the content. That's true. I mean, it's just what you write. The theme is, it's not necessarily secondary, but I think people need to focus more on their content. Now,
a lot of them have that like big giant picture. That area where it's like just this big, huge picture.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good picture, it's gonna look like crap.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Kubrick still. No, I'm kidding.
I put the two that I like on the chat, and for some reason, none of my friends at WordPress ever know or use them. But there's two of the highest rated plugins themes out there. They have more features than anything you can do, but they're manageable and easy to use. And when I've had to use a free plugin, there isn't anything I haven't been able to do with this. Just they're flexible. They're good for SEO, totally free, and they have almost everything built in a way that you can just turn it off if you don't want to.
Right.
Heavily supported and really, really good. There's Suffusion and Atahualpa. I put them there on the chat. But
nice.
I had Atahualpa, but I do some ointment, cleared it right up.
It does sound kind of weird.
It totally does. But it
the
sounds as bad as Beaver Builder, which is my favorite.
Which one?
Beaver Builder. I really like Beaver Builder a lot.
Easy.
I made fun of Chris Lema when he introduced me to Beaver Builder, and I was like, "Really? You're using something called that?"
Are you kidding me? That's a real name?
Yeah, a real name. Yeah. So they have their own theme, but they also have a plugin. So the theme is free, but the plugin you have to pay for.
Right,
and
cool.
the plugin just kind of gives your theme, any theme, kind of superpowers, where you're able to do custom page layouts and stuff. It doesn't change the whole theme itself. It just lets you modify just the content area of the site. But you can do some pretty interesting stuff with it. I like it, and it's kind of sped up my my development time for different sites.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's cool.
I thought you were joking when you said that.
No, that one's cool.
No, I've heard that lately on some of the
guys who run
podcasts.
I spent a week with them in Cabo at CaboPress, and they're awesome guys. I think they're actually, I'm not sure if they're listening right now, but they're a great team as well. So I support them. I actually have an account. They just sent me an account to try it out. I'm going to do a review on some other page builders for the podcast in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was you that's been talking about it.
No, actually, I haven't.
I'm
even
in the full immersion WordPress learning mode, where I just listen to a bunch of random podcasts and hope some of it sticks.
Yeah, right. That's about me. That's what I do also. As long as you got mine in queue, baby.
I got yours, the Watercooler, the Crowd, and the Tonic.
If you want another one,
WP,
if you want like a developer level, one of my favorite podcasts is put out there.
No. Are you kidding me? Right now, let's just stay with some beginner. Like,
get
familiar with the terms. Like when you go to Mexico, ¿Dónde está el baño? It's the only thing that really matters.
People are saying bad words in the chat. So they're talking about Visual Composer.
Oh, that was a joke.
Site Origin Builder and Visual Builder. So there's a ton of these, right? Right, Adam? There are just a ton of
32. Hey,
32.
Is that a... Hi, little girl.
Hi, Claire.
She
How
has
old
her
are
own
you?
site.
How old is she?
I can't hear you. She's almost
She's
3.
not has no earphones.
My little one turns 15. My oldest girl turns 15 tomorrow. Happy birthday to my daughter
Oh.
tomorrow.
So, how old?
Crazy. I'll tell you all about that later. Yeah, there are tons of builders. I'm actually testing one out right now. I'm testing out I use Headway as my framework. Love it, don't like it, whatever. There's Genesis, Headway, Thesis. Well, not Thesis. There's a handful of those. There's Divi. So I've been doing Divi, the plugin version. And it's promising. It looks really cool. And it does work now with any other theme. It's not just its own theme. It's a plugin that does the same thing as a page builder. Pretty interesting. Pretty powerful. I can see the purpose for it to kind of quickly spin up sites. Next one I'll test out is going to be Beaver Builder, so I have that account over there.
Yep.
But there are tons of them. But the Visual Bakery, a Visual Composer WP Bakery, I know some people love it, and I know some people hate it. So I've never used it. No, I don't think I never have used it. So.
Well, the good thing about people like you and I, Adam, is that we test all this stuff, we play with it, we figure it out. We some of our clients come to us and say, "Hey, I've used this thing, or I already bought this thing. Can you figure out how to use it?" And then you got to figure out how Visual Composer works, or figure out how Site Origin Builder works, or figure out how whatever it is works, and then you can form an opinion at that point because you didn't have to pay for it. Your customer paid for it, and they've already kind of made a decision as to, hey, I'm going to use this now. Go figure it out. So, I myself don't go and buy a whole bunch of these. I buy the ones that I hear a lot of, my friends and colleagues and stuff, refer me to. And, the ones that I've kind of used were the ones I pasted in here. The other thing with CSS Hero, that's the other thing that I've been using as kind of a way of messing with some CSS a little bit.
So let me add to that real quick on the theme issue, about which free themes versus paid themes. So, and I teach a WordPress 101 class here in town in Southern California, and there are 2,044 themes in the repository as of last week. I just looked because I did a talk on it in WordCamp Ann Arbor.
So when are you going to review all those?
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, good.
And the problem is developers can't know every theme, every setting. There's just no way. Plus there's another probably 300 to 500 premium themes. You have elegant themes, you have Headway, you have all the other ones. Let's say even 100. So that's 2,300 themes. So pick a theme. If you're a developer, if you're watching this, you're a developer, pick one or two, get to know them well, and just use those as your core baseline. If you're looking for a theme, then you want to get referrals. Look at sites that you like. Look at the code. Go to whatthemeisthat.com.
That's a good tool.
That's what you can see what they're building it with. So that's what I recommend all the time. Yeah, awesome. There's too many options. So I turned work down. I took a job a few months ago trying to fix a client's site. She's in DC, got a referral online, and it was in Genesis, and I hadn't used Genesis in a long time. And then I took the job because I was like, I had some time. I did the work, it was fine, but then she got frustrated, not from me, but she's like, I did a couple hours, and she's like, I'm going to scrap it and start over. I'm like, okay, here's my bill. I'm still did the work.
Yeah.
It's like, I try not to. I won't take a Genesis site anymore. I just don't know the settings very well. I'm just not fast enough.
And Genesis specifically does things kind of their own way.
Yeah,
which is frustrating because you try to follow all of the WordPress stuff, and then Genesis has such a stronghold that it's like, okay, now we have to learn you. It happens to be the one I use the most.
Yeah,
but
and that's the key. If you, I learned this from Bill Ericsson at Texas. He's a Genesis developer.
Yeah.
He does sites. He's very specific on what he does. He has a very process down. That's how I am now as well. Headway. I might add Divi on top of that just because I might be able to do some other things with it I couldn't do with Headway. But then Headway 4.0 is on its way out, which I'm really looking forward to. I've been with them for 5 years as a developer level member, so I get betas and stuff. So we're excited to see what's coming out hopefully this year. So I think it'll solve some problems. Not just Bill Ericsson's link. Thanks. Yeah.
Well,
he did a good talk. He did a talk at WordCamp years ago.
That and Bill Ericsson, he's kind of like the go-to guy when it comes to different ways of doing Genesis work. I used to do a lot of Genesis sites when I ran my own consultant, doing consultant work. And looking through here, you go on his BillEricsson.net/code. And go in there and look at all the snippets that he does. He's one of those people that, he knows that Genesis, you need to do Genesis a certain way. And you have to approach it a certain way. And the best way to kind of learn this stuff is by looking at other people's code. So if you go on there, you can look at all the different things that he has and the different ways that he's built out these things. So it's definitely a good way of kind of learning Genesis and figuring out, how to do it. So he has a ton of stuff on there. And
yeah, that collection is just pure gold.
Yep. And if you do a Google search for, how do I move my my title tag down below, or how do I change, not title tag, but change the main H1 or something like that, 9 times out of 10, you end up going back to his site because he's the only one that's done it and has really, documented it correctly.
The main problem with Bill is he's a totally nice guy, and
that's the problem.
Yeah, it's just not right.
Yeah, he should be a lot meaner.
He needs to ass it up a little bit.
So that's a good segue to one of the questions that came over on Twitter from Adam Foutwit, which was, is Genesis obviously the best framework, or are there others? So clearly it's just a preference.
It's a tool. Yep. Like anything else. I mean, it's what you're comfortable using, how it works for you. It depends on Bill specifically said it in this talk he talked years ago, that he can figure out what he'll make quickly. He does like a 2-week turnaround, a base price for development only, not design. You got to watch this. It's on WordCamp.tv. I've modeled some of my development work after his business model because it works, but I just do headway. So you want something done, 5 page, whatever it is. I can do design, but it's a whole separate pricing model, and I changed that out. These days, I'm actually trying to do less design because it's just like sometimes that's just takes forever. Rather just give me what you want it to look like, I'll build it. But no, Genesis they're just platforms. At the end of the day, clients don't care how you get it done. In my opinion, they want it done within time, the budget, and the features they need. Yep. How you do it, they don't care.
No.
Steve Zankin even says, right now we use WordPress. In 10 years, what are we going to use? 10 years ago, they used Flash,
Most of the time, if a client...
There's that Flash joke.
Flash.
What was that?
Hey, that's going to die soon, right, Flash?
Yes, soon. Yesterday. Actually, it's finally dead yesterday.
Yeah. No, I was saying that whenever a client comes to me and say, oh, we want you to use, and then insert name of framework, to me that's a red flag, and it's like, most of the time the client just needs to not worry too much about that and let us do the work. Or if they have a really good reason as to why they picked that, then, usually somebody advised them. And then at that point, it's like, okay, well, go have them build it for you. So that's what, at the end of the day, it's like Adam says, the framework is really not that critical as long as the work is done and it's fast and reliable.
Right. Code is clean, minified,
I've seen some horrible Genesis sites.
I'll get that. Sorry.
Really, really.
Hey, you break it, you buy it.
Yeah. Right. That's what I tell my clients.
So one of the questions that somebody had was, is there a place for newbies in the WordPress community? And I think
absolutely.
I think that there definitely is, and there's also great places online to find this stuff.
So you go to Bridget lives at 444 Main Street. That's the place to go for newbies.
I am totally new.
So,
I am so new.
And there's also, if you're somebody who uses Facebook, there's tons. I kid you not,
there's groups,
tons of groups. Just type in WordPress in there and find all the groups that are in there. There's a newbies one. There's one for style sheets. There's one for this. There's one for almost every single function that's in WordPress. Somebody has made a group just for people that want to learn how to do whatever. They're all over the place.
I learned how to make my blog happen this week. That was fun because I made it a static page.
Yeah,
I made it a static page instead of recent posts.
Oh,
and I was like, "Where's my blog?
Right.
How do I put a link for my blog?" That's
awesome.
where my good content is. That was not that simple or intuitive, which I know people get annoyed by saying WordPress isn't intuitive, but nothing is. But still, it wasn't obvious to me. That's for sure. That was a fun thing for me to learn, but I didn't know. I really didn't know it. There needs to be a button that says, "Listen, dumbass, if you make this a static page, nobody's going to know where your blog is. Are you still wanting to make this change?"
Right.
I need a plugin that has the dumbass buttons. Like when I installed Yoast, it said, "Hey, you got to disable these plugins right now."
Right. Or
we're not doing anything. Just listen, sister.
There's too many.
Well, there's a plugin that you're going to want to check out if you're new. It's called Betterify.
Okay.
Just check it out. It makes all WordPress sites better.
Okay. I'm writing it down in my notes.
It's a real plugin. A friend of mine wrote it. Just let her go with it.
No, for serious. Like I mean, that's a real need
Wow,
in
it
my
makes
life.
WordPress better,
Better fry.
and there's
better,
like there's like a dial for making it better.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
goes to
dude.
11.
It kind of does. It goes
My
to
friend
11.
Kyle at Real Big Marketing, Kyle Maurer, it's one of my
You
favorite
know what?
plugins.
Maybe Jason or Adam or even Bridget would know this, but I work with tons of different software for like 20 years almost, and usually when it's open source or there's a community around it, somebody comes up with like this magic pack, and it's like a bunch of plugins or functions rolled into one that just make everything better. I haven't found anything like that for WordPress. That's actually
Isn't that what Jetpack is?
no. Jetpack is just a connectivity and a collection of plugins.
So Jetpack adds the modules that you have at WordPress.com to a self-hosted site. That's all that is.
But like for example,
that's
And
it.
everybody's whining about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like if you have, I don't know.
Do you want the same superpowers that WordPress.com has? If you do, then they will help you leverage it.
Okay.
Sorry, Oscar. Continue.
Yeah, no. So do you guys know any plugins that do that? Like fix it, admin columns, or like
there's something I read about it. I want it.
There used to be this plugin that would help you build collections of plugins, and there was a website that would leverage that plugin, and then all of it disappeared because it was like there's no real good way to do it. So the way that I've talked about it, I think on episode 1 or 2 of WP Blab, we talked about it, was this idea of using the plugin directory and then looking at like my collection of plugins that I favorited. Yeah. So if you go to WordPress.org/plugins, and then on the top there's a username and password to fill in your username and password. To be the same one that if you have like a Jetpack account or something like that, you can go and fill that in. But then once you do that, you can go through and find the collection of plugins that you like and favorite all of them. Well, you can also go and look for somebody, and I'll share like with mine all the different ones that I like. So let me see here. I'm trying to remember the correct way to do this, because there's a way to do it if you're looking at it's under favorites, and then you just go and find that person's favorites. So if you're looking at like the plugins, like if you go into your website, go on the back end, click on plugins, and then add a plugin. In that add a plugin spot, there's a little section in there for favorites. If you type in Jason Tucker, which is my name on there, all one word, you'll be able to find all the plugins that I like.
Oh, we can be as awesome as you
can.
in one easy step.
Now, here's the thing about that.
That's really good.
That's only the ones that are in.
You favorited.
Well, no, it's not just that. Those are only the ones that are in the repository. Only in that. Only in that WordPress.org.
Premium.
Yep.
Right.
So any of the premium ones, none of those are going to show up there. So that's where you have to go to my website or something, and hopefully I wrote a blog post about all the great plugins that I use. I have not, but that's
a good that's easy blog fodder though.
Yeah, but then I have to write.
People like those top 10 lists.
They do.
Just make screenshots in there.
So that would kind of be the way to do it. Maybe Oscar.
Yeah. So there's no one plugin that just takes care of tons of different things in one plugin.
Well, I think the thing is
a plugin briefcase. Somebody make that.
I don't know if you want that though, because what if like one of the functionalities within that plugin is jacked up and you like everything else except for that one spot?
Yeah, or if it gets hacked.
I'm just thinking about like how other software and games and things are made. Where it's like, hey, you know what? You can go and install each one of those modules on your own.
Right.
That's great. Or you can go and install these other ones, or you can install this massive one that takes care of all this stuff. And I think that eventually people just pick and say, okay, you know what? The moment I install WordPress, I need WordPress, I need WordFence, Yoast, and this one. There's so many little annoying things in WordPress that I wish were just a setting, like displaying the ID of a post or any object. You know, how you have to install a plugin to just show you the ID if you don't want to do the mouse over. Little things like that should just be, they're maybe too petty to ask Core to fix, but we all go through a couple hours or an hour of, okay, I have to do all this stuff first. And we can come up with a process to install the plugins or our cheat sheets to get it done quickly, but that's one thing I'm surprised I haven't seen in WordPress is just somebody kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to fix these 15 issues and here's a plugin that does them all and it's like perfect.
I think somebody should make one.
It's called a maintenance program. I have a
Like,
Concierge
I accept
WP.com.
PayPal.
We need to get Syed and Lemma here to talk about it.
Right, exactly.
So somebody earlier said I can't find my plugins. I did something on accident.
Okay.
So there, for some reason, there's an edit button.
Oh,
which
no.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Why do you guys put an edit button on a plugin, which is all that PH Java stuff?
Because it's open source.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
open
I
source
wanted
station.
that Facebook pixel on my website. So I
Okay.
found one that did that for the retargeting or whatever.
Mhm.
This was a while back, but so closer to
Day
when
one.
I was really stupid. Okay, so I thought I was putting the pixel code in there because it says edit.
Oh.
That's where.
Oh.
Okay, people. So this is what happened. Not only does it not exist anymore,
Yeah.
but it does exist because then I can't reinstall the plugin anymore because it thinks it's there, but it's not in the list anymore
I could say I get
because
rid
I
of it.
edited the code. Don't press edit. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Don't learn from my mistakes. Never, never, never. I wish that wasn't there so much.
Yeah.
I turn that off on. You can turn that off in Core through function PHP or through another plugin to say limit what.
If I don't know how to edit something right, I'm going to go into Core and go to
but
function
there's
PHP.
a way. You
Come on, Adam.
If I was doing it,
Edit core, you type in some stuff and then you hit
I will
save.
build a house and live in it before I'm going to touch.
but no, from a developer level, there's ways to turn off a lot of that stuff. You don't want people seeing that.
Oh man, I went. Oh, it's gone. There's no Control Z for that.
And what's cool is it does this whole white screen of death thing where just like the
Awesome.
whole thing doesn't work and you're like, what did I do? I typed in make white pixel thing show up on my website from Facebook, and then I made sure I put a semicolon at the end of it. And then I hit save, and then what happened? And it broke.
So if you go to plugins and you go to edit, if you pick edit, what's the first loading?
It gives
plugin?
you a list. It
on
loads
the right
up the
side.
topmost plugin, whichever the one in alphabetical order, and then on the right hand side it gives you a list of all the plugins. So it's like, hi, please break my heart.
So it could be so it's by default you have a Kismet running. So the way to fix that would be that FTP into your server, rename that plugin, like just put a space before it or a number one.
Bridget, what's the problem here?
And it won't load, and then your site's back. And then you can remove it.
I love that you think I could do
Bridget,
that.
you have the FTP, right?
I know how to FTP, but I don't know which one would be that plugin. Do you really want me going in that back door? I will go in that back door. It'll be like Hotel California, and I'll never come back.
I think I hear my mom calling.
Oh man!
Yeah.
I'm going downstairs.
I just think it's so cute how you guys are like, well, just do this.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you right now.
Bridget, you don't give yourself enough credit. You've made it so far. It's like stop
I love you.
knocking yourself down.
Bridget, just go on YouTube, do a Google or do a YouTube search real quick. Just say like, I'm looking for an 8-year-old that can explain to me how to do FTP. And there's plenty of 8-year-olds that know how to use FTP.
The FTP I got down. That's how I used to build websites before. Like that's how you.
Then just go into it, look at the plugins, and look at your list, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Process of elimination.
Smart.
This one is
Okay.
this one, this one.
Because I think I want to try experimenting with that retargeting, so I need that Facebook pixel again.
So you want to put that in your theme somewhere, usually in the header or the footer of the theme.
Or better yet, find a plugin that will.
Well, it was a
install the
plugin.
pixel
That's what
for
it
you.
was. Yeah, it was a plugin.
Well, then find one that has that, and then it'll just.
I'm just
do it
saying,
for you.
maybe that lady on the side who was asking that question, maybe she
Right.
pressed edit, and that's how she lost her plugin.
Probably, I
Don't do
wouldn't
it.
doubt it.
I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't press edit. That's what I learned, and I learned the hard way. So you don't have to.
The other thing is make sure you have a backup before you even touch anything. Just back up your site, and then know how to restore from your backup. But that's that gets a little bit crazier. I've asked this a few times at various meetups that I've gone to. Was like, how many of you have made a backup of your website? And then a whole bunch of people raise their hand. You're like, how many of you have restored from a backup? And like, it's like nothing.
Nobody.
And I'm like, wow, really?
mean?
Nobody's ever restored from a backup? They're like, you know what? I don't even know if it's backing up. Like,
I don't even know what that means.
Like, I went in there and I installed like Updraft, right? I installed, upload to my Dropbox plugin or whatever. And I've installed that and I hit the button, I put in all the information, I hit go, and then I get an email every day that says it's backed up my website.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, great, it backed up my website. And then they double click on the file and it's an empty zip file. And the thing never backed up anything. And they're like,
Wait,
what do I do?
Now I don't
there's
know.
an error at the bottom that says it never really actually backed up.
Yep.
or your host deleted it because
so
they're
what,
too big.
so what
Don't say
Bridget's
that out
done,
loud.
and what we were talking about before I hit the recording button here, is that Bridget uses desktop server.
I use that Updraft
right.
too.
Yep, desktop server right there. So because of desktop server, she's able to take that thing, take that backup and then restore it in desktop server and then play with it and see.
Well, we're still working on that part, but that's the theory.
They got plenty of documentation on that website.
It's a whole OST training. There's a whole training for
I know. I'm going to
free.
start watching it now instead of trying to do things the hard way.
Yeah, if money's not an object for backup, I would recommend just WordPress.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
WordPress is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I deal with a couple of
one
sites.
zip file?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It just does it for you.
It just backs
I
up.
know, but what is the backup? Like, is it a
It
zip
goes
file?
automatic. Automatic owns WordPress.
Automatic, real time, like within a few minutes or seconds,
So
it's
if you-
backed
so-
up.
How do you get that actual?
So here, Bridget, here's what you do. WordPress is a paid service from Automatic. It does it for you. If you want to have a copy of it, you want to download it to your computer, then might set the back to have a second layer, so you have a file somewhere so you can see it. Get Duplicator.
I have Duplicator. I just found that part.
And then download that file. That's so you have a copy on your computer.
Okay, I'm going to write down WordPress. See, I'm getting all my questions answered too.
And then you can import that Duplicator file into desktop server and have a local copy if you want them up with.
Okay, I did that part, but it was downloading, and then Nate Tyler said I should delete the HTA access file or something. I haven't had time to figure out what he's talking about.
Here's the main thing about this stuff though, is that let's say you go buy WordPress, right? WordPress is $9 a month for them to back up your website. It's $9, right? If you went to a more premium web host, that's included. Sometimes.
And it is yes. I mean, and you're right. But it's a different level of service.
Yeah, but if you're paying, say, $10 a month for web hosting, let's just say, and we're paying $9 a month for backup, that's $19. If you can find a few more things that could be done here, you can get to a point now where you're paying $29 for all this stuff. You might as well go with another web host.
WordPress also offers a light version for $5 a month or $55 for the year. Daily backups, automatic restore, backup archive, and safekeeper support.
Maybe SiteGround is doing it, and I don't know.
SiteGround does.
Yeah.
They do, but they don't keep it very long, so you just have to make sure you download it.
So let's say your website crashes, right? And then you go on vacation, and then you come back. You have a bunch of really great backups of a crashed website. Because it doesn't keep it for very long.
Unless you pay for the extra backup from SiteGround, I think they keep you for 30 days or more on a daily basis. But what Jason's saying about the other hosts is true. I mean, I'm not promoting anybody, but like WP Engine is like hourly backups, and they're great. The downside to them is, the lack of flexibility to do other stuff in your host.
Right.
The only time I recommend WordPress is if you have a money-making site, and that's the only clients I deal with that have it. They're making money where it's like $15 is not an issue. They'd rather have that because, and I run one site, or I help somebody with a site that gets, I don't know, probably 500,000 visits a day, and it went down. It would have taken me, the backup is close to 2.5 gigs of just files.
Wow.
Then there's the database. So, and we have a backup because we do it like on a regular basis. We still back up, but it took me longer to get the backup to a place where I could restore it than it took WordPress to restore the site.
Oh.
And when somebody's making money by the hour, by the minute, $15 is a lunch. But if you're doing it for a blog as a hobby, then definitely look for a host that maybe takes care of it.
So Jonathan in the chat's asking, what happens if your web host gets hacked and now you've lost your backup? Here's the thing is that you never you haven't made a backup until you've taken that backup away from its original source and put it someplace else.
Smart.
So if that means that you're going to take that thing and put it in Dropbox and have that live in Dropbox someplace, if you take it and you put it on a little SD card, or you take it and you put it on a USB thumb drive,
or a zip drive, maybe.
You can get your jazz out or something.
Right. I'll make a Bernoulli. How far back do you want to go back? I think I'm the oldest one in this room.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm just glad that I'm not the only troublemaker, so I'm smiling.
I'm hiding all my MFM drives. They're all over there somewhere. So here's the deal.
I actually have a
Make
floppy.
sure that you have a backup, and make sure that that backup doesn't exist in its original place. So take that thing, do the backup, and then grab the backup and move it someplace else. That's where something like WordPress, it's taking it off of your your web host, making a copy of it, and then putting it on their own servers, and then they're storing it. And depending on how much you pay, you'll get various services out of it. Now, if you do something like Updraft, there's all these different ways within Updraft to do backups. You can have it back up to S3, you can back up to Dropbox, all these different places. As long as it's off your server and someplace else, you're fine, because then you can at least grab that file and pay somebody, Adam, to restore the thing. You could just say, hey, you know what? I have a zip file. The whole website blew up. I have 20 different zip files. Which one's the most recent one? And can you get this thing restored for me?
I mean, here's actually a true case study that I had recently. I had a client. He was a student, became a client, friend. Now he's going to become a client again. His site was hacked back in January of this year. He didn't know it. It was hacked through the Gravity Forms exploit.
Wow.
But the hackers didn't take the site down. They just added 32 more pages and about 15 more admin accounts. And they just used it as whatever they were trying to do with it. Finally went down about a month and a half ago. Went down, they did something where finally the PHP, the white screen with a parse error in the header. Mm-hmm. So the site was, but I could log into it, so it wasn't gone.
Right.
Surprisingly enough, he had Backup Buddy from iThings running, like once a week for full, once a week, because I told him this is how I do things. So he had, it was going to his Dropbox, also staying on the server. So the server didn't crash, the site did. But I had 9 months worth of backups to look at. I had to go back to January to get a somewhat clean copy because they were all bad. They're copied of bad. So the January was the cleanest, and it took me a couple hours to clean it up, and then I charged him for it. And now he signed up for the service because he signed up 6 months ago when I launched. This would have never happened in there. It would have been on me to check the site first before I took it as a client.
So is there a standard amount of time that you should keep something, or?
Yes.
Good job, Adam.
Smarty pants.
Good job. No,
I mean, clearly you
want more than
you kept like
you want more than
7
one.
or 8
You define it.
Spread out a little bit. You don't. If you can do
3 months.
Yeah. So, like for instance, in IT, you usually do daily backups,
right?
You do weekly backups, then you do a monthly backup, and then you do a yearly backup, and then you just keep recycling all this stuff over and over again. Now, I'm not telling you need to go do a full yearly backup and do all this stuff, but you want to at least have enough of those backups so that way, if one fails, which it's going to fail. That's just a given. You'll at least be able to restore from something, even if it's you're restoring back from when Oscar's kid was first born. Oh well, at least he has all the stuff before she was born that he could work off of.
And then the other theory is it depends how often the site's being updated or changed. If it's being updated daily for blog posts, or if it's e-commerce, or if it's a big an aggregate of data, then definitely a daily database, if not full every day. And then maybe you only need 5 days, and then you keep a weekly. So there's methodology behind that. And then I also put it in 3 different places. I have a backup. Let's say I have a full backup today. Today's what? Today's Thursday. I'm gonna have one. I'm not gonna have one copy, but I'm gonna put it in AWS, Dropbox, and maybe Stash. I'm gonna put it in 3 places because then I feel secure. I come from the photography world, 10 years ago for 15 years. So when I was doing photography work full time, we didn't feel we being photographers. 3 copies. That's when we felt secure. Here I have here's my cards. I keep compact flash. I got home from a shoot, 3 copies. Raw, and then raw. And then
you start working.
And then you start working, and then when I'm done with the finals, then I make 3 copies of that.
Yeah.
Because you just never know.
You don't. You don't know.
I mean,
and it's
Carrie just lost a hard drive. Carrie Lee.
Yeah.
She's bummed. And
that's terrible.
It is terrible.
And because of that, if you would have had a backup that was, even if it's not a very good backup, but at least it's something. You uploaded all those files to Flickr. You upload those files
somewhere.
And we're talking about photography here, but when it comes to like WordPress stuff, if you had a backup in a couple different places, even if you had multiple plugins that were doing backups and they were going different places, that's fine, I guess. I mean, you just want to have backups.
Yeah. And that's why I use Backup Buddy because I can schedule it. And it'll go to wherever I want it to go to. And if it's not going, I get an error log that says this one timed out because whatever, or Dropbox or AWS. If something happens, I know it didn't go somewhere if it fails. If it doesn't fail, then no news is good news.
Right. Is that the one made by iThemes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And circling back to something Jason mentioned earlier, Managed WP, that has built-in scheduling backups as well. So if you have that, and you can just schedule all your sites to back up.
And to balance it out, there are free plugins that are the back of the Dropbox for free, but you have to do it. It's a manual process.
Yeah.
You pay for you're paying for support. It's that schedule. It's that. So someone just sent me a message. Is that somebody else? No. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways to do it for free. I mean, at a bare minimum, you could go to the export feature in Core tools and take the database and post in pages.
Yeah, at least you have that.
At least you have that.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, let's wrap this bad boy up, land the plane, do all that stuff. I got a kid that needs to go to bed, so
I need to go to bed.
Yeah. I got a person that needs to go to bed.
Netflix does not watch itself, folks. I can't watch the Netflix.
How to Get Away with Murders today. So.
Exactly.
Right.
So thank you all for being on the show today.
Thanks, Oscar and Adam.
Thanks, guys. Hey, Adam, good to meet you. I don't think I mentioned it yet. So.
No problem. No problem at all. Make sure you go to our website, WPwatercooler.com. Click on the links there. We'll have links that goes over to Oscar's site, also over to Adam's sites, and all the services and whatnots that he does. Bridget, your website, come on.
BridgetWiller.com. I give unsolicited social media advice. Like today's advice is if you want a $15 an hour social media manager, you know what you're going to get? A $15 an hour social media manager.
3 fivers.
hey, real quick before we go, yeah. I got somebody gave me credit earlier on WordCamp LA and how well it was run. I just want to give props to Bridget for being our social media person. She was a champ, and it was a team effort, and I give all that to Bridget. So I want to spread the love. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. See you at WordCamp US.
Yeah, BridgetWiller.com. You can find me from there.
Woohoo! All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on.